Hush now, don't you cry. All right, here we go. Wow, we got everybody's in already today. Very cool. Philip's here and Lunatic and Wolverine and Josh and Vin and Krusty. Going nowhere. Dark Dingo Anbu, Fudge Nugget, and Lix. I do like Lix's screen name right now. Excuse me. Let's see now. Josh says, "Hey Curtis, I know you're not into Halo, but I'm excited for the new Halo game." Yeah, I never disliked Halo. Basically, what it came down to was when Halo was huge, so was Call of Duty, and I just like the more reality-based war games than I do the sci-fi ones. That's why because Halo was a great game. But that's why I got so pissed off with Call of Duty when they started putting in the shit like that double jump and all that crap. It's like, the reason I played this is because it's basic warfare. If you're going to put all this superhero space stuff in it, I'd much rather play Halo that had a lot more options and different things that you could do with your characters. Hey, BTG's here. You get reincarnated as a Prinny to work off your sins, dude. Now that's the afterlife we need. BTG is 100% correct. Yeah, as I said during that video, and I believe in the description as well. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, BTG sponsors this Gaia gameplay as one of his sponsorships over at the Gooch. And I'm never going to get tired of that, dude. It's so perfectly done. It's so deadpan, so funny. I just love it. Excuse me. Lick says, yeah, I'm not in the mood for this convo. Death anxiety ain't going to have fun with it. Oh, I understand, Lick. Seriously, though, if it's honestly going to stress you out, by all means, Lix, you can take a flyer on this one. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. And Lix, is always here helping us moderate and everything. But if it's really gonna, because hey, it's like with most topics when we talk about things that are less superfluous, there's always the possibility that we'll be talking about something that just doesn't sit well with someone for any one of a variety of reasons. Oh, excuse me. Arthur says, I'm late, but is this man who I kind of started YouTube watching? Wow, cool. Watching with going to pass away? If so, I wish to see the best next life. Yes, I am going to. I'm hoping it's quite a ways off. Could be during the stream, but might not be for 30 years. I will say this, my doctor, actually I've had two doctors tell me this because I switched doctor at one point. I have a lot of things going for me on longevity. First of all is Brax, while he was a senior in high school, had to do a thing on digging into his family tree, and I didn't know all this till he did it. Genealogy, that's what I was trying to say. We had a significant number of people way back, many generations ago, when the average life expectancy was like 35 or 40, and they were living to 80, 87, 85, all over the place. That, and it's just like with the that video I posted, that YouTube short where I weighed myself because I gotta start losing some weight. But the main reason people typically always underguess my weight is because I have extremely, and this isn't an opinion, this is through MRIs and all the many x-rays and shit I've had over the years. I have really, really thick bone structure, which is why I have almost a size 8 hat at under 6 feet tall. And I have very, very thick muscular structure. So while somebody my height, around 5'11", if you look at the chart, I'm supposed to weigh, I think it's like 190, no, might even be less, my 185. And like my doctor said, if you get down to that, we got a problem because you're on death's door. It's just, I am very fortunately, one of the few things I've been granted in life that is an advantage. I am extremely structurally solid. Cold Waves saw the thumbnail. You were a pro wrestler. Yes, for almost 30 years. That goes hand in hand with what I'm talking about. I'm very fortunate. I see guys that didn't go through, the type of matches that I went through my whole career, and so many of them are younger than me, and they're having so many medical issues, backs, knees, variety of things, and really, other than some stiffness, soreness here, and a lot of that's old age, I pop out of bed every morning without a problem. I like to pop out of bed with a boner more often than I do now, but that has nothing to do with the wrestling. Oh, Anbu says when you die, you'll be sent to the Konosuba universe. Perfect. I'd like to be sent to Konosuba, or what's think of the title, dumbass. Guys, what's the anime? I hate when the nouns go out of my head. The anime where it's like it's trying to come to me as I'm saying it. You got the crew going reporting on all the brothels. It's gone completely out of my head. There are some others too, but those would be top of the list. Eternal nothingness, random alien from Mars believes, something that will calm you down and haunt you at the same time. So you're saying conscious nothingness, though. Oh, that would kind of suck. Interspecies reviewers, thank you guys. Philip Chrome, thank you. Yes, that I would like to live in that universe. Listen, I've got a background in journalism. I can write the articles. Just got to start banging some elves and shit. I'm for that. Yeah, that you know what? Aside from the ecchi elements of it, that was really funny. I really liked that series. That was a lot of fun. Krusty says, so to keep my answer brief, unless we somehow get isekai'd by a truck and or similar vehicular implements, it's just non-existence. Or at least I hope so, because then I'd be able to catch a snooze. That's you guys know what I think. That's why I want to know what you guys think. I think that's it, done. It's it's entirely just nothing. And we go in the ground and eventually turn to dust. But I love hearing what other people think. Because my thought is, or what I believe happens is kind of dull. Raven's Nest says, that's so dope. Right now I'm 21 and I'm planning on being a pro wrestler. It's cool to see a guy who's been in the business. Make sure you find yourself a good school, pal. There's a lot of fly-by nights have popped up all over the place, and make sure they're teaching you all the right things. Excuse me, but yeah, it's the only thing I'll say about the wrestling business, and I'm sure you're aware of this. It is the one form of entertainment, sport combo of both, actually, where you won't stay with it unless you really, really love it. Because the pain is honestly and sincerely never ending. You're in pain all the time. All the time. It just comes with it. Wolverine says, if you add more hair, tattoos, and a Russian accent, you're basically Red Guardian from the Black Widow movie. Also, my name works for Thanksgiving. Wolverine, but carved true. That's right. Wolverine, so now you can it works for Halloween as well. So you're set for a while. I don't know how it works at Christmas. Tim Burton's type Christmas, I guess. Milog says, I believe when we die, as our consciousness fades, we enter a dreamlike state that lasts mere moments in real time, but in our minds we live out all of our fantasies as dreams, and then we shit ourselves. I'm looking forward to the shit ourselves things. Living out all your fantasies, that's cool and everything, but there's a lot of freedom to be had in just taking a good dump. Oh, and I'm hoping. I mean, this is totally off topic. I just keep you guys updated on what I'm doing. I'm so hoping I can get time. I think maybe after dinner tonight, I can squeeze in an hour. I want to watch that next episode of Squid Game. left me right on that goddamn cliffhanger of that last one. I'm so dying to see that. Didn't get a chance all weekend. Lunatic says the only person to ever come back from the dead was Jesus, and he spent those 3 days in hell. So hell is confirmed, but not heaven. That's a good point, Lunatic. Senor Hombre says maybe after death we rejoin a collective unconsciousness, and then our souls get recycled into different bodies. So kind of shut the fuck up, dogs. So yeah, another word gone out of my head. Jesus. So reincarnation? Because isn't that basically what reincarnation is? It's just like, recycling of the soul, right? If you believe in reincarnation, I would imagine. I mean, it's not my thing, but that seems to be the case, is that the soul exists separately from the body, and when it's done with the body, it eventually moves on to another one. Tobirama says an afterlife requires the concept of souls to exist according to religion. So if you revive someone who has been dead for 100 years with future technology, do you just pull a soul out of hell? Yeah, and who knows what one. And how does hell catalog them and everything? Can you get your old soul back? I mean, are they all put together by name and serial number and shit, or social security number or something? Or do you just reach down and you grab one and take your chances? No limit, no lengths. You have been my childhood. Well, I'm glad you've been with us for a while. It's amazing how I tell you guys, the 10 years flew by. We're at what? We're almost at 10 and a half now. Excuse me. Gabe says, knock, knock, who's there? Tara. Tara who? Tara my clothes off. A little bad touch joke. Well, he says, what if the 72 versions were anime waifus? Oh. If there's anything to do with the afterlife that has to do with anime waifus or just anime titties, yeah, I'm ready to go now then. Vin says, what if you get born on another planet in another universe after this? I don't know, but with my luck, it'd be some planet where humans, or the human form, is like probably just like the slaves or the the ones used for target practice on that planet. Fudge Nugget says, technically, if reincarnation is a thing, doesn't that technically mean we would be immortal? Well, it's official. I believe in reincarnation, right? I would say so, right? Your soul is. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Chrome says, so by the looks of it, some of the big manga I've been waiting for have been delayed for like 6 weeks because of COVID issues and paper shortages. Burn the Witch and Mao were announced like a year ago. There's nothing left in society that isn't being affected in some way and being delayed, in either delays that lead to inflated prices. Gas is getting just insanely out of hand. Is anybody here? I don't remember anybody self-identifying that way. Is there anybody here from California? I know they typically have the highest gas prices in the nation. I'm wondering what you guys are paying. Philip says, would you really want to bring back a soul that's mind's been broken by the never-ending torture of hell? That could explain a lot if you think about it, Philip. I think there's a number of people walking among us who are exactly in that situation. I was just looking at my monitor. I've got the sharpness turned up too much on this camera. You guys can really see every line and crease and crack and crevice in this beat to shit face. I need to put a filter on that. just to be polite to you guys. Edit Queen says, how many years have you been doing this YouTube job? I've had this channel for 10 and a half. When I started, I mean, it wasn't with a job or anything. I didn't even know there was monetization of YouTube at the time. I didn't know anything about it. I started it because it would be fun to play Call of Duty games because I sucked at it. But I have another channel, my Curtis Candy channel. Fuck off, train. I'd have to look it up. I think I started that in like 2007. So that one's 14 years old. But I don't do much with it. Just post things on it here or there. Jared said, "Oh, hold on." Jared said something. I lost it. There it is. The soul and the body are a part of each other, but separate in the sense of energy. Just like how your body needs energy to function properly, the soul is a form of energy we don't understand yet. That's an interesting philosophy. That's very interesting. Okay, Andrews says, yes, I'm from California, like 4-ish, some places 5. Wow. Whoo, shit. We're at, what did I just pay? I just put gas in, Brax stopped home yesterday. He had to pick up a couple things. And I topped this car off. It was 353, 354, something like that. Ive says gas prices where I live is a 165 a liter, getting a bit much. Whew. It's unfortunately, and I hope this is incorrect, but it's looking like it's all going to get worse before it gets better. Goku says, diet as being a true Muslim. You'll see what comes after this life. I mean, not for me, not Muslim, not any Christian religion. I'm not into religion. And again, I always put this out there because I find so many atheists to be obnoxious. I don't have a problem with anybody in their religion. I think it gives a lot of people a lot of comfort. It's just not my thought. Chrome says, I feel like there may be something after death. If consciousness is more than just an illusion or physical effect, there may be something. Nothing is ever lost. It just changes form. I guess that's the key component there, Chrome. You make a good point. What is consciousness? What is what we know as consciousness? See, for me, I think it's something that goes hand in hand with the absolute staggeringly good luck we had in this planet existing, and once the physical is snuffed out, everything goes. But if the consciousness is something of a separate entity, then stuff gets interesting. Chrome says June 2nd, 2011 is upload date for the first video. Yeah, and it started in, I actually opened it in May. I think I can give you the exact, 26th, I think. Hold on a second. I'll just take a peek. I won't spend a lot of time on it if I can find it quick. I don't Yeah, May 27th. The channel was created on May 27th. And then we took a few days, building a header for it and stuff like that. Philip says, I've said this before, but if the Calvinists are right about us all being predestined for heaven or hell from birth, I'm definitely bound for hell, just the feeling that I get. Oh, I would say there's a little doubt for me, too. I'd say if that is the case, the only thing I could really have to look forward to at all is I plan on making a bid to take over hell, to become the operator of hell. Azaria says, what do you think comes after this life? My answer, nothing. No afterlife or whatsoever, and hope there is no such thing as rebirth. Simply cease to exist. That's what I believe, Azaria. But like I said, I just like seeing what other people think too. But yeah, that's my belief. Andrew says $4 to $5 is average, but there's some cities in California charging $8. Jesus Christ. But personally, never been to, we're talking about, that's dollars per gallon. Holy shit. Yikes. I mean, that's getting, I feel for, just like Brax, he was saying to me, we were talking one day, he's going, Dad, this gas is getting out of hand, and his car's really good on gas. He's very fortunate. I said, yeah, I know, dude. He said, I give him credit, though. He's in his senior year, and he's already putting in applications everywhere he goes. He's like, I don't want to be a broke ass. He's already trying to get his jobs lined up. Going Nowhere says, Curtis, my understanding is that you don't believe in afterlife. True. So I just wanted to ask, do you fear death? Do you fear nothingness? No. I think when I was younger, I did. Death is imposing and scary and stuff. A lot of the reason I don't, because my belief system is I don't think I will have any consciousness in the nothingness, so there's nothing to fear. But more than that, one thing I have noticed as I've gotten older, I've really, really seen the natural flow of how life goes. And by that I mean, I've seen the generations above me all passing away and moving on, and I've been very fortunate that now, as I said, Brax is a senior in college. That was my goal, to allow him to be a kid as long as he could. I've been telling him that since he was born. I'll take care of you right up until you're done with college. I mean, he can always still live with us or whatever, but I mean, I will make sure he's taken care of, because the time you get to spend as a child is so short. I'm not going to rush him into adulthood. So once he's graduated, I've completed that mission. I am very happy, very content with my life. I love doing this. This is a big part of it too. I love doing what I do every day. I love these streams. I love watching anime over at the Goose. Now, I love watching Squid Game. I like watching Family Guy. I'm just having a good time. So no, there's nothing. I'm not afraid at all. It's going to end at some point. I'm not going to try not to do anything to accelerate that ending. That's why I do have to start watching my weight and stuff. I just can't keep carrying around this number of pounds. Just so tough on the cardiovascular system. But I'm not afraid at all. Of course, being completely unafraid to die too puts you in kind of a neat situation where if push comes to shove, I wouldn't be afraid to take care of any business needs to be taken care of. So don't at the FBI about me saying that. Aperture Sketch says, what if life is just a loop? So once you die, your whole life would be just restarting the same place at the same time with the same actions you did before. Oh, that would piss me off. Once I do this, once I'm done. I don't want this as a rerun. No, I want new material. Kaiser says, I suspect either Christianity or Islam is true, as both seem to have prophecies being fulfilled. Either way, heaven where I'm not myself, or eternal torment in hell, neither sounds good. Yeah, I don't think like you, it's hard. I guess it's harder for me to imagine or contrast like heaven and hell, just because my beliefs are that it's just dunzo when you're gone. Yeah, it's hard for me to really. Chrome says FBI just entered chat 10 years ago. Merbani says, there is a lecture from Alan Watts. Imagine going to sleep and never waking up, kind of like a numb state of mind, like you're there but you're not fully aware and you're just drifting around, basically. I would hate that. Wouldn't you guys? That would be so mundane. See, I guess that's one of the reasons I am comfortable with the belief structures I hold is I don't feel like I need there to be an afterlife, because I'm perfectly content with this life ending and there just being nothingness. I'm okay with that. Here's a question though I have, and this I'm not being sarcastic. This is legit. For those who believe that there is an afterlife, okay, and there's definitely some level of consciousness when we're done being alive here on Earth. Does that mean there was some level? Did we as individuals have some level of consciousness before we were born, before we came here? And again, I'm just curious. I don't know how that belief system would work. Senor Carlito says, what comes after this life? We're all reincarnated as porn stars. Boom, chicka wah wah. And Rick says, so assuming reincarnation is real, what happens when we run out of things to reincarnate into? Heat death is going to wipe out everything, and after that, there's going to be nothing left. You think so? Heat death? I'm not convinced. Is there climate change? Absolutely. I'm not sure how much of it, though, we as humans are actually affecting, because we know the climate has changed dramatically on this playing it a number of times throughout history. And there are some legitimate charts that show where we might just be heading toward downside of another movement away from the warming trend. I don't know. Be interesting to see. Oh, I won't get to see. It's going to take a lot of years, and I won't be around for it. Unless some of you guys are right, and I'm still going to get to at least take a look at what's going on here. Rosa says, I take dibs on acting with Johnny Sins. Good to see you, Rosa. I was just going to ask the gang. I hadn't seen you in a few days. I want to make sure everything was okay. Toby Rama says, if excuse me, if the theory of alternate dimensions is true, then that means predetermination is 100% true. Because that would mean in one of the infinite universes, an action that could happen will happen. That's interesting. That's deep. Excuse me. Tyler says, I believe when we die, we go to the great big dumpster in the sky. Dustin says, what if the last video game you played that you genuinely enjoyed is your afterlife? The last right now, of course, is Disgaea. I just played that and I genuinely enjoy it. But if I die after tomorrow and before I play another game, then it's going to be Minecraft. Because tomorrow BTG sponsors an episode in his modded world. That'd be okay. If I do die, I want to come back in BTG's modded world. The Minecraft worlds I've created over the years have sucked compared to his. I want to play on the train and get eaten by the silverfish and stuff. Chrome says the heat death of the universe is a hypothesis on the ultimate fate of the universe, which suggests the universe could evolve to a state of no thermodynamic free energy. Oh, that's interesting. Well, we know too, obviously it's eons in the future supposedly, but we do know that the sun will eventually burn out, so if nothing else, that will end life on the planet, but I'm quite positive it'll be gone long before that. Excuse me. Stuart says, speaking of Death Battle released a new Death Battle, Alucard versus Dio. I heard. I'm surprised at the result, but the fight was probably top 5 DB for me. I can't do reactions though, Stuart. I heard about that one, and when I heard about that one, that really interested me because you guys know how I love Alucard. I like Dio too. So I was on their channel, and I saw they had Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man. I was like, oh, cool. I'll watch that, and of course, if I'm going to watch it, I'll make a reaction of it. Made the reaction video. Immediately as I posted it, Rooster Teeth blocked it. So I have no idea anymore what goes. Pretty much all the entities of YouTube hate me. Who is Streamboss? Oh, not just Streamboss, just holding on. Willie says, last post. Reincarnation is like the ship of Theseus. If we are reborn without your memories or experience, left to make new ones, are we still the same soul? I'm not a good one to speak on that because of my belief system, but I would think so. Isn't the soul just kind of like the blank slate, and then you draw your own life on it? If that's the case, it's still the same soul, right? It's kind of like the stem cell. And it just waits for you to give it its set of instructions. Excuse me. Philip says Hobbes. Oh, I loved Calvin and Hobbes. Hobbes from Calvin and Hobbes had an interesting belief about the afterlife. We go to New Orleans and play saxophone in an all-female cabaret. Call it heaven if you want. I hadn't thought about Calvin and Hobbes in ages, pal. Oh, that was such a great cartoon strip. So good. Got a bunch of their, the books of their collections of their strips somewhere. I don't know where they've gone after all these years. I got them around here somewhere. Rosa says, you thought it was Rosa, but actually it was me, Dio. Exo says, I think depending on how we do in our current life, we reincarnate as an animal, human, or go straight into the afterlife. That's interesting. Isn't that a, and I'm not sure, Exo, that's kind of, for those who believe in reincarnation, that's kind of a common thought process, isn't it? That it's an option, just because I've heard that before, where, you'll come back as an animal or a human, or in some cases, and I don't know how it's determine, but you go straight into that afterlife. Oh, really? Chrome says, oh, just saw the ending of Dio versus Alucard out of curiosity. It's exactly what I thought it would be. They pretend Alucard doesn't have Schrodinger's cat by the looks of it. Really? Yeah. I know a lot of people get really annoyed with some of their death battles because of the pertinent issues they sometimes leave out and others that they tend to exaggerate. Philip says, I think anything could happen as souls are real, but we know what happens to the body. Right, Philip. I get you. Yeah, we know where the body's going. It's just a matter of, is there something that goes on beyond the body or not? Rosa says, yeah, I was busy for a bit. I had to sub for some driver that, I kid you not, broke his foot by tripping in the pool. I don't know how that happens. Yeah. Oh, that's such a lame ass story to have to tell. You know, it's nothing. There's nothing cool about that injury. I would make something up. Philip says, I ended up lending my Calvin and Hobbes collection to my grandfather when he was in the hospital and never got damn things back. Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. Well, if I could find mine, I'll keep in touch with. If I can find mine, if I come across them, I have no idea. I haven't read them in years. If I can find them, you're welcome to them, because that's one of the things. And again, I hate saying this stuff. Sounds like I think I'm going to die next week. But as I've gotten older, that's some of the things I do. I try any stuff I have that I know I won't be utilizing anymore, or this, that, or the other, I pass it down to whoever I think would like to have it. And none of my kids, grandkids even know anything about Calvin and Hobbes, and I won't be reading them again. So I'll have to see if I can find them, Philip. I'll let you know. But I do the same thing with my wrestling stuff. I had a couple issues of like wrestling magazines, the national wrestling magazines, where I had my picture in them and things of that nature. And I've already dispersed that to the grandkids and to Brax and everything. So any stuff like that I find that I have, and I mean, I'm an older guy now. I don't want to die and just have somebody throw them out because they don't know that they're cool or that somebody might really enjoy them. So I tend to just distribute stuff. Andrew says, how did you become a Notre Dame fan? It's kind of a quirky story, Andrew. I would have been like 5 or 6. I just really started even paying attention to football at all. I was already watching the Cowboys, and I was going past, I remember it plain as day. I was going past my TV. I was in the living room there in the fall, and I didn't even know what was going on, but I just watched, and there was a college game on, and I saw these badass dudes come running out of that tunnel with the sun gleaming off those golden helmets, and the crowd's going nuts, and you had touchdown Jesus in the background. I was like, that's one of the coolest fucking things I ever saw. And from that moment on, I have been a Notre Dame fan. It was that simple. Lick says, think about how many times you would have to reincarnate as a mayfly, which only live for 24 hours and are a favored diet of most bigger insects. Yeah, it'd be a constant, oh man, it'd be a constant turnover. Willie says, even without Schrodinger, Alucard should have won in 10 seconds. That's what I believe. Yeah, I agree. Azaria makes the point, though. A little difficult for Alucard to beat Dio in 10 seconds just because he would like to drag out the fight. That's true. We got to remember who we're dealing with there, Willie. Alucard would be having too much fun inflicting the punishment. Rosa says, I personally am not sure about the afterlife. I have 2 possible. First is continued conscience. Second is the end. I have no preference. I can explain continued conscience, but we'd be stuck here all day. And homosexual Sasuke says, Indy's golden helmets are so badass. That's what got me into it. And it's been a lifelong thing ever since. It's weird stuff that affects you as a kid. But I'm okay with it. I mean, I've had a great time being an ND. Well, I've had a great time for a good hunk of the years being a Notre Dame fan. Had some stretches where it sucked. Excuse me. Chrome says, the heat death of the universe is everything becomes so spread out, stars and life can no longer form. Oh, I see. Everything is cold and black as everything fades to dust, then potentially second Big Bang. Gotcha. Ooh, so then, but similar to the fact that the sun will eventually burn out, that we're talking a long process there. I don't, my personal belief is humans will wipe themselves out before either one of those two things takes place. Don't you guys think? I would think it's inevitable we do. Yes. Big Daddy says bitches love cannons. Yes, they do. There's my girl right there. Oh, or right there. Oh, that finger was put in just the right spot there, wasn't it? Oh. Yeah, I'm 12. Chrome says, I can understand Death Battle missing some stuff, but they miss even basic things a lot. Also, them claiming they're fair and do research makes my eyes roll. The Bleach Death Battles are terrible, are they? The Bleach ones, yeah. Sasuke says, I became a Clemson fan because the rest of my family were South Carolina fans. I want to be different. There you go. Well done. And you got paid off because Clemson had a lot of down years, but, well, until this year, they became obviously a powerhouse, the powerhouse. Over the last 10 years, the two big powerhouses have been Clemson and Alabama. To a lesser degree, Ohio State, but Clemson and Alabama have dominated. Yeah, I agree with you, Rosa. She says, I think humans will wipe themselves out before they can finish the boobies versus ass discussion. Yeah, I'd like to think that's not true, but I don't think we have an extended period of time of life on this planet because of what humans will do to it and to each other. Philip says, if it turns out that the Vikings were right about Valhalla, the majority of us are screwed. Not a lot of people dying good deaths in battle these days. Very true, Philip. Very true. Hopefully, as the times change, maybe they updated the entrance requirements for Valhalla. See if we can get somebody to look into that for us. Going Nowhere says, I wish people were more respectful of other people's beliefs rather than trying to push their beliefs on others. Yeah, that's why, like I say, I don't even... I always put a little bit of a disclaimer in there when I tell people that I am an atheist, because the fact, with a lot of atheists, the fact they believe there is nothing else, and that's their belief system, they get very arrogant and obnoxious about that. Glick says, no, I'm sure eventually every human will come to their senses and realize that both are good. Yeah. Rosa says, I will die in battle by masturbating on the battlefield. That'd be pretty cool, actually. That'd be a cool way to go out. You'd get mad respect from me. Cool Lemon might have the ultimate explanation or quoting of an explanation. Obviously, after your death, you return to the Shadow Realm to gain more chromosomes. Chin chin. Wolverine says, Valhalla sounds nice. I'd like to go out fighting a bunch of pedophiles. If a good death is necessary, that would be a good death. Indeed. Andrew says, Odin, welcome. Noobs. Oh, welcome, Noob Slayer 69. You have entered my hall for your countless moments of valor and death in Call of Duty. That's the only chance Boy, and you guys who have seen me play Call of Duty know I got a lot of deaths to choose from. Jeez, way too many. You got me curious now, Philip. I'll have to see. I'm trying to think as we're talking here. I'm trying to think where all my Calvin and Hobbes books went. I've got a bunch of them, and I've got a shit ton of Dilbert ones. And somewhere deep in the recesses of my stored stuff, I have a bunch of Garfield ones, because I told you guys, anything animated I've always been a huge fan of. So comic strips were right in line with cartoons and everything else. Mr. Shank says in about 5.5 billion years, the sun will run out of hydrogen and begin expanding as it burns helium. Is that how long it is? I knew it was. I didn't know the numbers. Is that what they figure? 5.5 billion? Yeah. Like I say, we've got zero chance of humanity staying alive that long. They'll kill each other way before that. Chrome says 10 to the power of 100 years. Wow, can't make the symbol. Is when the heat death of the universe takes place. It's after the point only black holes exist in the universe. Even they die by then. Yeah. So as we were saying, I can't imagine. I I hope I'm wrong, and I don't like to be a harbinger of doom. I think life will be greatly altered on this planet or non-existent within 150 to 200 years. I believe. Mago says I will go to Heffel. Chrome says, well, the example I always go to is Ichigo versus Naruto. They state Hueco Mundo is bigger than California, and Okioda can destroy the entire thing, but Ichigo can only destroy a city. They don't think. Oh, jeez. Mr. Epic says racism will finally be gone, and the hood will be hoodie. Yeah, it's fun. That's why I like having conversations like this. It's always fun to see what other people think, particularly when, my own personal belief structure is really boring. It's the most boring one. There's nothing more boring than you're dead and it's like, that's it, it's over. Blank slate. And you're not even conscious to see the blank slate. It's just nothing. No, oh, yeah. Rosa says, imagine getting shot through the clitoris, the female equivalent of getting shot through the dickhead. Lunatic says, if we don't blow ourselves up in the next couple of decades, we will have the technology to save humanity. I think I think you're right in the respect, Lunatic. Medical advances. I told you guys about that article I read years ago where some scientist who's a big muckety muck in that field said that if science put their mind to it, the first person to live to be 1,000 could be 60 right then. But I do think you're right about the medical advances that could clearly save humanity. But as those medical advances take place, so will advances in ways to eliminate one another. And I think that the elimination game will take priority. Ive says, it's already getting altered. We have tornadoes happening where they shouldn't. Hurricanes are getting stronger each year, and the snow after blizzards where I live is double what it was 15 years ago. Right, but the only thing there, and I don't disagree with you, but again, that goes hand in hand with what I said. This planet has experienced that type of thing in the past. But as far as like snow and stuff, that's hard to judge on because where I live, the snow is way down from what it used to be. So that, and that was explained to me just by the jet stream and how the weather patterns go. As far as see, I haven't really seen. I'm kind of a hurricane nerd. I gotten into it of all things when we used to take the Disney trips. Several times we've been going down when there were hurricanes in the area, so I would monitor it beforehand to see how it was going to affect our trip and travel and everything. And I got into it. And if you look at the total history of hurricanes, that's not necessarily true. There's been a lot of years and even sectors of years with hurricanes as active as this. And again, I'm not trying to say that the climate change doesn't exist. I believe it does. I just don't believe necessarily humans have as strong a hand in it as some other people do. Big Green makes a good point. Terraforming. We'll leave this ruined planet behind and proceed to ruin the next. That's entirely possible, too. We could get enough years before we just eliminate each other to where the technology gets to where we could inhabit other planets. That's entirely possible. Chrome says, I think humans will last longer than that. We're already considering colonizing Mars. The chance of us surviving the end of the world increases every decade. That's true with the colonization. It's just what I think will be the actual end result, Chrome, is outside of nuclear, I think in the coming decades, you're going to see weapons of insane mass destruction become much, much easier to create and to build. And then you will get it in the hands of some little psycho dictator or dictator somewhere who won't hesitate to use them, and that will start the chain of events. They'll use them, say, against the U.S. The U.S. will strike back. Somebody else will be pissed off the U.S. struck back, and then that's it. Tyler says, Death Battle has a hard job trying to please both fans of both series, but they do leave out stuff a lot to make it more interesting, or they're bad at doing research. I agree on that, Tyler. Yeah, yeah. Krusty says, I say 150 to 200 may just change a bit. I wouldn't say completely gone or greatly altered. The planet has existed for 4.5 billion years, and life has existed for a significant portion of that. No, I agree. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about planetary devastation, Krusty. I mean, not that the planet itself will cease to exist. It's that what I think is our technology is escalating rapidly, insanely rapidly. And I think we're not that far away, as I said, from much more effective weapons of mass destruction that will be much more readily available to those who would use them. Philip says, apparently the Crow believed that in order to go to the afterlife, all your organs had to still be within your body, especially the liver. Really? I'm assuming that means they were stuck in limbo otherwise. Good thing I'm not a drinker then, because I should be able to hold on to my liver. That's interesting. Andrew says, I was thinking the possibility of staying on Earth and draining other planets of resources was more likely. Seems less costly to transport raw materials than an entire species. Well, and Andrew makes a good point with that in the respect that if we could figure out a way to colonize Mars and to actually live on that planet, then wouldn't we have the technology to continue to live on this one despite what we may have done to the ozone layers and such, and what we've done to increase the temperature of the planet and so forth? I would think. Ha! Big Green says, ha! He said dictator. Gimster says, the only truth about afterlife is the ruler of all. Mr. Popo. No, Popo, no. Prepare for gooshing that will make hell look like a preschool playground. Good old creepy Popo the legend. Willie says, I think most of us are headed towards limbo. Realm and hell for people who weren't devout and holy during life but weren't bad people. In some writings, limbo is temporary and you go to heaven after. Yeah, I would think if there's an afterlife, I'm taking the direct route to hell. I would think. Maybe there's a caveat in there that saves somebody like me, but I don't see it. Philip says, I'm 80% human civilization will collapse but recover. That's possible. We've seen it before. The Roman Empire is a great example, but not the only one by any means. History has clear patterns if you know how to look. My concern, I don't disagree with you, Philip. My concern, though, is because of the technology, humans will just get too adept at being able to obliterate one another. That's what I'm afraid of, but you're right. Philip says, I only know this because a mountain man named Liver-Eating Johnson waged war on the Crow for a decade and supposedly ate their livers knowing this as revenge for them killing his wife. Jesus. Liver-Eating Johnson. That sounds like a guy I would need to hang out with. Liver-Eating Johnson. Just based on name alone. Excuse me. Andrew says, Madara is all I can think about when hearing limbo. That's actually good, Vin. I would appreciate that. I think that's a good one. Vin says, I'm gonna put waiting to respawn on my gravestone for shits and giggles. That's pretty good. I like that. Josh Berry says, I think World War III and nuclear warfare could be the same thing, not independent of each other. Right, but see, and my big concern, Josh, I think is we will, in the coming decades, invent weapons that are even more deadly than nuclear weapons and more easy to create and utilize. That's what I'm afraid of. Am I planning on going to Mars? Nah. My age, Jeff, I'll just stay here and go down with the ship. Josiah says, I like to believe in reincarnation. Die, start a new life, never disappearing, but never the same. We've been touching on that. It's not something I believe in, but reincarnation is interesting to me. Chrome says, colonizing Mars won't really be for getting resources. We'll mine asteroids for resources. We know of asteroids in our solar system with enough gold and platinum to radically change our economy. That's true. I've heard that too. I've heard that, Chrome. Philip says he killed 300 Crow warriors, including 20 that had been handpicked to kill him. Eventually, they sued for peace and made him an honorary chief in their tribe. That's amazing, actually. That's an amazing story. Big Green says, more lethal than nukes? Are we going to start launching black holes at each other? No, but I'm thinking laser and related technologies could be made to be much more deadly and easier to deliver as weapons. Again, not only the lasers themselves, but the technology we will gain from having perfected lasers. Rick says, yeah, soon we're going to get the nuke guns from Fallout, which launch 50 nukes at once directly to your face. Sarin gas is pretty damn deadly. That's a good one, Ives. Yep. Knight of the Lord says, apparently colonizing Venus and floating cities would be more appropriate because of the upper atmosphere, gravity, and temperature. Oh, okay. Huh. It's too bad I am too old that I'm not going to see any of that. That would be interesting. Bioweapons too. Josh makes a good point. Yeah. Yep. Biological weaponry. And again, that's a lot of stuff that they have the technology for now, but I think they have been able to, for the moment at least, keep it away from those who would actually go ahead and use it. Well, okay, let's just playing devil's advocate, because it is a possibility. Let's say that coronavirus was actually created in a lab with a thought of maybe being able to harness it as a weapon someday. Look what it did. And that's with, no matter what else went on, that's with not necessarily trying to create a virus that would wipe out humanity. Put their minds to it, and I think it could be done pretty easily. Goat Joe says you should check out a game called Subnautica one day. We've talked about Subnautica before, Joe. Did I try? I don't know. I don't think I ever tried it, but I know of the game. It hasn't been mentioned in a while, but I know of the game. Willie says the Cowboy Bebop anime is now on Netflix. Good idea putting the great show on so people can immediately compare it to your shit remake. Yeah, Willie, really. That's some excellent timing. Because as soon as you don't have Radical Ed in there in your bullshit remake, you fucking suck. I still can't believe they did that. Big Green says, yeah, I don't think any of us in the stream right now are going to get to see all this happen. Yeah, unfortunately. It would be cool to see the colonization of other planets and stuff. Yeah, Code says China is heavily focusing on bioweapons as we speak. They're also made great gains with hypersonic weapons. So has Russia. It's not. That's why sometimes I have to laugh a little bit when people talk about the economy here in the U.S. Then the first thing they talk about is we could cut the military budget in half. I'm like, really? You now is when you would like to cut the military short of the budgeting they need to invest in technology. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Rosa says, fun fact, there are people with their own lives, own conscience, own loved ones, etc., who have been found as bones and are nothing more than specimens who would not even recognize the modern world. Chrome says, I think weapons like medicine will become less general and more targeted to individual targets. Personalized tech is the big focus now. They'll target individual leaders instead of mass damage. I think that's true, Chrome, but I think that will spill over into mass damage. I don't think it would ever be able to be contained to that. Oh, Big Green says Ed not being in the Netflix version is a blessing in disguise. It looks like shit. Maybe, fuck off, Chain. Yeah, that's the point I hadn't considered. Maybe it's better we don't have a character who is so great, so awesome. Maybe it's better that she's not a part of that shit show. That's interesting. Philip says they actually made a movie about him with Robert Redford and Grandpa from the Waltons called Jeremiah. Jeremiah Johnson was about him. I remember when they made that, Philip. I don't know if I ever did see that. I remember it being out. I can't even remember. Isn't that stupid shit? I remember. All I remember from that movie was the poster or something, where Jeremiah Johnson's in a big, thick, heavy gray coat and big hat. And I was telling my wife this the other day. Now, this is what's so fucked up about post-concussion syndrome. You guys have seen how often I've struggled for words or titles just within the stream that I know and just blank out on me here or there. But now, Philip talks about that. I not only remember Jeremiah Johnson movie, the name of the actor who played Grandpa from the Waltons is Will Greer. I remember shit like that all the time and can't remember pertinent stuff. My wife came to me with a picture the other day. She works in a senior center, a home for senior citizens, and her friend are making shirts for them up there. And so they got pictures from their childhood. And she comes over to me and she says, "Hey, look at this guy in this picture." She goes, "Doesn't that look like the one son from Leave It to Beaver, Not Beaver?" I said, "Yeah, Wally, Tony Dow." Now I remember the character's name and the actor's name. Why? Why? That honestly stuns me, and it does it all the time. How? And they said that post-concussion will not affect your long-term memory. It'll decimate your short-term memory, but it's bizarre to me. It just really is. Willie says, "I'm glad Ed isn't in it. We're in a post-Cuties Netflix after all." Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but Ed doesn't fit that category because they didn't try and sexualize Ed in any way whatsoever, fortunately. Well, you don't know what they're doing a remake, though. You got a point. Hey, Yarbrough. Good to see you, pal. Oh, Big Green, it's true. You can remember that, but not what you ate the other day. And it does. It's actually, it doesn't, I shouldn't say it bothers me. It's mind-blowing to me. Why would I remember something like Will Greer? I haven't seen the Waltons since the Waltons went off the air. What was that, 40 years ago? 45 years ago? Why the fuck would that be there? But yeah, I'll try to remember the names of characters on stuff that I'm loving and enjoying right now in the current that I watch every day for the Goosh, and I'll forget their names. No idea. Azaria says, "Learn negative emotion or event stay clear more than happy memories." But see, for me, Azaria, it's all the time thing. That's what gets me. More recent memories are just a jumbled mess for me. And the old stuff just stays sharp. And I don't know why. Drew Dog says, "I'm loving your Squid Game reactions." Oh, I'm loving Squid Game. I just told the gang here, for those who just came in, I'm going to try this afternoon. I'm hoping. I think I can make time to watch the next one now. I'm not sure if I'll be able to also get it up tomorrow. I said that because I don't know if I can get it up any day at my age. But the editing takes a long time too, so I'll see if I can make enough time to edit and get it uploaded as quickly as possible. And I'm hoping to watch it after dinner today. Rosa says, "I remember what I ate yesterday. Get on my level, noob." Oh no. Chrome says Netflix released a short for their Cowboy Bebop show already. Apparently it feels like an exaggerated, bad, mocking parody. Refuse to even check it out. Oh shit. Oh, Chrome, I highly recommend Squid Game. I really, really do like it. And again, I know everybody in here has not watched it, so I won't go into too many details other than to say the acting has stunned me. How good the acting is, and I like the directions they go with the story. I really do. Lick says, "That's how brains work. You spend too much time memorizing pointless shit that it fills up your memory bank so you can't memorize anything important." I've said that myself, Licks. I'm a believer in that. You get to a certain point in life where, again, the hard drive is full. And if you want to remember something new, you better kick something else out. And if that thing that you're trying to kick out if there's a glitch and it won't be deleted, well, you don't get the new memory then. Yeah. Yarborough says, if you're having trouble getting it up, watch High School DxD again. Oh, that is a bonerific show. It really is. It really is. You watch Squid Game too, the boys? Yeah. Again, I'm just amazed. And there's been so many things that have come down the pipe recently that people went wild about, and I was it's like, okay, it's cool. But this, I really get the hype. For me anyway, I really like it. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go. I appreciate the stream. I love having chats like this. I'll bring up more and more topics like this. It's fun to see what everybody else thinks about the bigger questions and stuff. It makes it a lot of fun. But as I said, I'm going to try. I got some stuff to take care of right now. Then we'll have dinner, and I'm hoping to get an hour in there where I can get that recorded. And then as soon as I can get to editing and posting it, I will. Because that cliffhanger on episode 4. And again, there's too many people who haven't seen it. I won't say what the cliffhanger is. But that cliffhanger on episode 4 almost killed me. If it is Monday, but we had a really good conversation about the afterlife. So I think we've kind of counteracted the fact that Monday kind of sucks and is kind of blah by the fact that we've determined that we're not going to be around that long anyway. Oh, that wasn't as up as I thought it was going to be. So the sticky stuff today... Goose, goodbye. Thanks, Gimster. The sticky stuff today is very, very aware of the fact that life is not permanent. So here's some sombering sticky stuff today. Let me get somber mood. Palm foo. Sticky stuff for you. 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 We're not here forever. Sticky stuff for you. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashly, like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and it's never somber. Goose. Goose.